Rafael Trujillo. Rafael Trujillo was born on October 24, 1891. His family was poor. When he was 16, he worked sending telegraph messages. In 1918, he joined the National Guard. American Marines trained him. He learned fast. By 1927, he was the boss of the whole army. On February 23, 1930, Trujillo took over the country. He made himself president. For 31 years, he controlled everything. He called himself El Jefe, which means the boss. Everyone had to hang his picture in their homes. In 1937, Trujillo did something terrible. He ordered the killing of Haitians living in his country. Soldiers used machetes. Between 13,000 and 20,000 people died in just a few days. This was called the Parsley Massacre. Trujillo killed anyone who opposed him. His family stole money from the country. By 1961, many people wanted him dead. On May 30, 1961, 7 men ambushed his car at night. They shot him many times with machine guns. He died on the road. He was 69 years old. Alfredo Stroessner. Alfredo Stroessner was born on November 3, 1912 in Paraguay. His father was German. His mother was Paraguayan. When he was 16, he joined the army. He fought in a war with Bolivia from 1932 to 1935. He was brave. He became a general. On May 4, 1954, Stroessner overthrew the president. He became president himself. He stayed president for 35 years. That is one of the longest dictatorships in South America. Stroessner ruled under martial law for all 35 years. This meant he could arrest anyone without a trial. His secret police tortured people. Between 3,000 and 4,000 people were killed or disappeared. Stroessner worked with other South American dictators. They hunted down their enemies together. This was called Operation Condor. Stroessner also protected Nazi war criminals. Josef Mengele, the Angel of Death, lived in Paraguay safely. By 1989, Stroessner was 76 years old. His own friend, General Andrés Rodríguez, turned against him. On February 3, 1989, tanks rolled through the streets. About 300 soldiers died in fighting. Stroessner was overthrown. He fled to Brazil. On August 16, 2006, Stroessner had a stroke after surgery. He died that day. He was 93 years old. He was buried in Brazil. He never faced justice for his crimes. Jean Bedel Bokassa. Jean Bedel Bokassa was born on February 22, 1921 in the French colony that became the Central African Republic. When he was 6, French officers beat his father to death. 1 week later, his mother killed herself. Catholic missionaries raised him. He joined the French army at age 18. He fought in World War II. He won many medals. In 1965, he returned home. On December 31, 1965, Bokassa overthrew the president. He became president himself. In 1976, he declared himself emperor. On December 4, 1977, he held a huge coronation ceremony. It cost $20 million. The country was very poor, but Bokassa wore a crown with diamonds and sat on a golden throne. In 1979, students protested against expensive uniforms. Soldiers shot about 100 students. In April, Bokassa personally beat children to death in prison. Over 100 children died. The world was shocked. France helped overthrow him in September 1979. Bokassa went into exile in France. In 1986, he returned home. He was arrested immediately. In 1987, he was found guilty of murder. He got the death sentence, but it was reduced. He was released in 1993. On November 3, 1996, Bokassa died of a heart attack. Anastasio Somoza Debayle. Anastasio Somoza Debayle was born on December 5, 1925 in Nicaragua. His family controlled Nicaragua like their own property. His father was dictator before him. His older brother was dictator too. Anastasio went to school in the United States. He graduated from West Point Military Academy in 1946. When his brother died in 1967, Anastasio took over. He officially became president in 1974. The Somoza family owned almost everything in Nicaragua. They owned factories, banks, airlines, and land. They were very rich, while most people were poor. Somoza's National Guard killed people who opposed him. They tortured thousands. In 1972, an earthquake destroyed the capital city, Managua. Countries around the world sent money to help. Somoza and his friends stole most of it. By 1978, people had enough. They started fighting back. Rebel groups called Sandinistas fought against Somoza's army. The war was terrible. About 50,000 people died. On July 17, 1979, Somoza fled Nicaragua. He went to Miami first, then to Paraguay. The dictator Stroessner let him live there. On September 17, 1980, Somoza was driving through Asuncion, Paraguay. A team of assassins fired rockets at his car. The car exploded. Somoza died instantly. He was 54 years old. Samuel Doe. Samuel Doe was born on May 6, 1951 in Liberia. He was from the Kron ethnic group. His family was poor. He had very little education. When he was 18, he joined the Liberian army. He slowly moved up. By 1979, he was Master Sergeant. On April 12, 1980, when Doe was 29 years old, he led a group of 17 soldiers. They broke into the presidential palace at night. They killed President William Tolbert in his bed. Doe became the leader of Liberia. He was the first person from an indigenous tribe to rule Liberia. Before, descendants of freed American slaves ruled the country. At first, some people were happy, but Doe was cruel. 10 days after the coup, Doe executed 13 government officials on the beach. They were tied to poles and shot. The executions were shown on TV. Doe killed people from other ethnic groups. He favored his own Kron people. Thousands died. Elections in 1985 were rigged. Doe declared himself the winner. By 1989, a man named Charles Taylor invaded from Ivory Coast. Another rebel, Prince Johnson, also fought Doe. On September 9, 1980, Prince Johnson's men captured Doe. They took him to their base. They tortured him on video. They cut off his ears. Doe begged for mercy. He died slowly. He was 39 years old. His body was displayed in the streets. Mobutu Sese Seko. Mobutu Sese Seko was born on October 24, 1930 in the Belgian Congo. His birth name was Joseph Désiré Mobutu. His father was a cook. As a boy, Mobutu was smart. He went to missionary schools. He joined the Force Publique, the colonial army, in 1949. In 1960, the Congo became independent from Belgium. Mobutu became Army Chief of Staff. On November 24, 1965, Mobutu overthrew the president. He became president himself.
He ruled for 32 years. In 1971, he changed his name to Mobutu Sese Seko Kuku Ngwendu wa Zabanga. This means the all-powerful warrior who goes from conquest to conquest, leaving fire in his wake. He made everyone wear traditional African clothes. He banned Christian names. But Mobutu was a dictator. He killed thousands who opposed him.
Meanwhile, Mobutu became one of the richest men in Africa. He stole billions of dollars from the country. He owned palaces, yachts, and mansions in Europe. He flew on the Concorde to go shopping in Paris. The country was falling apart, but Mobutu lived in luxury. By 1996, Rwanda and Uganda supported rebels to overthrow him. Laurent Kabila led the rebellion. On May 17, 1997, rebels captured the capital. Mobutu fled to Morocco. He had prostate cancer. On September 7, 1997, Mobutu died in exile. He was 66 years old.
Siad Barre. Siad Barre was born on October 6, 1919 in Somalia. His birth name was Muhammad Siad Barre. His family were nomadic herders. When Somalia was an Italian colony, Barre joined the Italian colonial police force in 1941. After Somalia became independent in 1960, he joined the new Somali army. By 1965, he was commander of the army. On October 21, 1969, Barre led a military coup. The president had just been assassinated. Barre took power and declared Somalia a socialist state. At first, he did some good things. He started literacy programs. He built schools and hospitals. But Barre also created a dictatorship. He formed a secret police force called the NSS. They arrested, tortured, and killed his opponents. In 1977, Barre invaded Ethiopia to take the Ogaden region. The war failed. Somalia lost. This embarrassed Barre. By the 1980s, different clans started rebelling against him. Barre responded with extreme violence. From 1987 to 1989, his forces bombed the northern cities of Hargeisa and Burao. Between 50,000 and 100,000 civilians died. The Red Cross called it genocide. Barre destroyed water supplies. He planted landmines everywhere. By 1991, rebel groups reached the capital, Mogadishu. On January 26, 1991, Barre fled in a tank. Somalia collapsed into civil war. Barre went to Kenya. then to Nigeria. On January 2nd, 1995, Barre died in Lagos, Nigeria. He was 75 years old. He died from a heart attack. Ferdinand Marcos. Ferdinand Marcos was born on September 11, 1917 in the Philippines. He was smart. He became a lawyer. In 1939, he was convicted of murdering his father's political rival, but he appealed and got out of prison. During World War II, he claimed he was a war hero. Many of his claims were lies. After the war, he went into politics. In 1965, Marcos was elected president of the Philippines. At first, things seemed fine, but on September 21, 1972, Marcos declared martial law. He said it was to fight communism. He arrested thousands of opponents. He shut down newspapers. He controlled everything. His wife, Imelda Marcos, became famous for her shopping. She owned 3,000 pairs of shoes. They stole billions from the country. They built palaces while millions were poor. Marcos's soldiers tortured and killed people who opposed him. About 3,257 people were killed. Another 35,000 were tortured. About 70,000 were imprisoned. By 1983, people were angry. Marcos's biggest opponent, Benigno Aquino Jr., returned from exile. On August 21, 1983, soldiers shot Aquino on the airport runway. Millions protested. In February 1986, after a rigged election, millions took to the streets. This was called the People Power Revolution. On February 25, 1986, Marcos fled to Hawaii on a U.S. military plane. He lived in exile in Honolulu. On September 28, 1989, Marcos died of heart and kidney failure. He was 72 years old. Nicolae Ceausescu. Nicolae Ceausescu was born on January 26, 1918 in a small village in Romania. His family was very poor. His father was a farmer who also drank alcohol too much. When Nicolae was 11 years old, he moved to Bucharest to work. He worked in a shoe factory. He joined the Communist Party when he was 14. He was arrested many times for his political activities. He spent years in prison. After World War II, communists took power in Romania. Ceausescu moved up in the party. On March 22, 1965, he became the leader of Romania. At first, he seemed different from other communist leaders. He said he wanted to be independent from the Soviet Union. Western countries liked this. In 1969, President Richard Nixon visited Romania, but Ceausescu became a brutal dictator. He created a cult of personality around himself and his wife Elena. Statues of him were everywhere. Everyone had to worship him. His secret police, the Securitai, arrested and tortured thousands of people. In the 1980s, Ceausescu forced people to have more babies. He banned abortion and birth control. Many unwanted children ended up in terrible orphanages. He also destroyed entire neighborhoods in Bucharest to build a giant palace. By 1989, people had enough. Protests started. On December 22, 1989, Ceausescu and his wife tried to escape by helicopter. They were captured. On December 25th, Christmas Day, they were put on trial. The trial lasted about 1 hour. They were found guilty of genocide. At 2:50 p.m., a firing squad shot them both dead. Nicolae Ceausescu was 71 years old. Kim Il-sung. Kim Il-sung was born on April 15, 1912 in Korea when it was Japan controlled it. His real name was Kim Song-ju. His parents were poor. When he was 8 years old, his family moved to China to escape Japanese rule. Kim joined communist groups when he was a teenager. He fought against Japanese soldiers in the 1930s and 1940s. After World War II ended in 1945, the Soviet Union controlled the northern part of Korea. They chose Kim to be the leader. On September 9, 1948, North Korea officially became a country. Kim Il-sung was its first leader. In 1950, Kim invaded South Korea. This started the Korean War. The war lasted 3 years. Millions of people died. In the end, Korea stayed divided. Kim ruled North Korea with total power for 46 years. He created a cult of personality. Everyone had to worship him like a god. They called him the Great Leader. Statues of him were everywhere. People wore badges with his face. Anyone who criticized him was killed or sent to prison camps. These camps still exist today. Millions of people have died in them. Kim's government controlled everything people did, said, read, and watched. North Korea became the most isolated country in the world. The economy was terrible.
Many people starved. On July 8, 1994, Kim Il-sung had a heart attack. He died at age 82. His son, Kim Jong-il, became the next leader. Enver Hoxha was born on October 16, 1908 in Albania when it was part of the Ottoman Empire. His family was Muslim. He went to good schools. When he was 22 years old, he won a scholarship to study in France. In France, he joined the Communist Party. He lost his scholarship because of his political activities. In 1936, he came back to Albania. He became a teacher. In 1939, Italy invaded Albania. Hoxha refused to join the Fascist Party. He lost his teaching job. He opened a tobacco shop, but secretly he was organizing communists. In 1941, he founded the Albanian Communist Party. During World War II, he led fighters against Italy and Nazi Germany. After the war ended in 1944, Hoxha took power. On January 11, 1946, Albania became a communist country. Hoxha was its leader for the next 40 years. He was one of the cruelest dictators in Europe. He loved Stalin and wanted Albania to be exactly like Stalin's Soviet Union. Hoxha killed thousands of people who opposed him. He put tens of thousands in prison camps. In 1967, he declared Albania the world's first atheist state. He closed all churches and mosques. Owning a Bible was punishable by death. He built almost 1 million concrete bunkers across the country. Albania became the most isolated country in Europe. Nobody could leave, nobody could visit. By the 1980s, Albania was the poorest country in Europe. On April 11, 1985, Hoxha died from diabetes. He was 76 years old. Ne Win was born on May 24, 1911 in Burma, which is now called Myanmar. His birth name was Shumaung. His family was poor. He did not finish school. When he was young, he joined a student movement against British colonial rule. In 1941, Japan invaded Burma. Ne Win joined a group of Burmese men who trained with the Japanese army. They were called the 30 Comrades. During World War II, Ne Win fought for Japan at first. Then he switched sides and fought against Japan with the British. After Burma became independent in 1948, Ne Win joined the new Burmese army. He became a general. On March 2, 1962, Ne Win led a military coup. He overthrew the elected government. He became the dictator of Burma. He ruled for 26 years. Ne Win created the Burmese way to socialism. This was his own strange mix of Buddhism, socialism, and superstition. He believed in astrology and numerology. In 1987, he suddenly declared that certain money bills were worthless. Many people lost all their savings overnight. He did this because his astrologer said the numbers were lucky. Ne Win isolated Burma from the world. The economy collapsed. Burma became one of the poorest countries in Asia. His secret police arrested thousands of people. Many were tortured and killed. Students who protested were shot. In 1988, massive protests erupted. Soldiers killed about 3,000 protesters. On July 23, 1988, Ne Win resigned, but he still controlled things from behind the scenes. On December 5, 2002, Ne Win died under house arrest.